So we started in 2 centres in September. So we launched Cannock and Rugeley, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday, the same weekend. And I think across the two we had something like 50 tasters booked across the 2 venues. Prior to launch, we've done some marketing. So we've got our Facebook pages up and running with the help of an outsourced provider. We've done a bit of leaflet, but not a lot. We've done a bit of postering, but not enough. And we certainly with Cannock, that's where we live, so we know people, and we've done quite a lot just through people we knew. Reasonable launch, first one was happy enough. I think we sort of ended up with 20-ish, 25, 26 members at both venues after the first weekend. So it was an okay, not maybe 20 members at both venues. And it's grown steadily over the following months. We got to December and we'd already planned to launch our 3rd venue in January. One of the things that we were trying to work out is what is actually working in marketing, because it's quite difficult to actually track down. So the easiest way was to ask the people who turned up for tasters. So in our mature venues, we've been asking every single taster where they heard about us. And in the new venue, we asked every single one of the tasters on the first day to tell us how they found out about Sport for Kids. And it's given us some fairly clear messages. So if we talk about the new venue first, so Wednesbury, we had 56 tasters booked for the first day. We've got 80 booked for the first 4 weeks, across the first 4 weeks, and about 50-ish turned up on the day. So it was a better launch. Part of that is because we follow the S4K way and advice and systems more to the letter than we did before the launch of the first 2 venues. On talking to the parents who came for tasters, it's almost exactly, the way they found out about us was almost exactly a third. So a third of it was Facebook. So our Facebook pages, we have Facebook pages for every venue. We link them together so people on Cannock can see what the Walsallwood or Wednesbury and Rugeley venues are doing. We tend to post the same content pretty much. Our outsourced provider on social media has got click here to book your taster adverts that go out. That feeds through to a CRM system so we can track those. So about a third of the people had seen us through Facebook somehow. A third of people had just done a Google search. So over Christmas, a lot of people were looking for what do I do with my toddler or my young child after Christmas, and put into Google search kids football Cannock or kids football Staffordshire or whatever. And with the SEO work that happens as a result of the website and keeping content updated and refreshed, we're pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 on every single one of those searches. So a third of people had found us just through an organic search. The other third had seen posters, flyers, adverts in the local area, in Tesco's or in a Costa or on a roundabout or outside their nursery where we just happened to have put some correct signs. And so it's about almost exactly a third. When we compare that to the information we've got from parents turning up at the mature venues, it isn't a third anymore, it's a quarter. It's 4 sources of information and they're almost exactly a quarter each. So a quarter Facebook, a quarter Google search, a quarter local collateral, flyers, posters, etc. The other quarter is recommendation. So the other quarter said, Johnny goes to nursery school with Freddie. Freddie's been coming to you. Freddie says it's great, so Johnny wanted to come. I think again, it's a question of just following the S4K sort of recommendations and the processes and procedures that have worked in core and can work anywhere. So the biggest one for me is quality of coaches. If the delivery of the lesson plans, which are differentiated against anybody else in the marketplace, if the delivery of those lesson plans is phrase perfect, if it's delivered with fun and energy, if the coaches you've got look after the children and care about their welfare, if the maitre d' and coaches involve the parents, that creates an environment where people will go away and say, we had a great time at Sport for Kids, your son or daughter ought to come along as well. Making sure that happens is a combination of training, and we've put a lot of time and effort in Stafford into our coaches, so monthly meetings, special training events, go through lesson plans for the next month together, WhatsApp groups, keeping them informed of what our plans are, and we've started to develop a sort of family feel amongst the coaches. We've had a few casualties. There's a few people who've fallen by the wayside because they wasn't for them, they didn't quite get the S4K way, but 80% of our coaches from day one are still with us. And then it's about audit. So we went through the standard opening first venue audits. So every week there was somebody from core coming up to help advise, train our coaches and us as maitre d's and administrators. We then had an audit at the end of that. One of our venues was platinum, one was gold. So okay, first time round. We've seen a slight deterioration in the quality. So we've had to put back in some more training to pick that quality back up, especially around lead coaches, mainly around volume, energy, fun, and phrase perfect. They get the kid. We've got coaches who look after kids properly. They know how to relate to little people. They get all of that. It's the stuff around what makes S4K different that they just need to practice and get better at. But we've got it. Venue that we opened in January, we've got 3 of our existing coaches there, so they've gone through 4 months at Canuck or Rugeley, and we've got 2 actually training coaches, including an under 16 sort of work experience type coach. So they're learning from the coaches that we've got before. We will audit them, we will go through the process, we will go through training, we have appraisals and one-to-ones and development plans with them. And actually it's nothing different than if you read the handbook, follow the handbook, it works. So we have just started, so I'm lucky I've got a full-time general manager, so we've been able to man-mark the venues when we've just had 2, and often it's 2 of us there, but there's always been someone at both venues of the 2 original venues. Clearly when we opened Wednesbury as our 3rd venue, it's on a Saturday alongside one of our existing venues, and we needed to leave that venue alone for at least a week or 2 weeks while we get Wednesbury bedded down. So we've spent some time with one of our original coaches who's shown some aptitude for leadership, who's shown enthusiasm, wants to look at making a career out of sport for kids, not just a weekend sort of job. We've worked with him to help him to understand what are the important things. We've done some training with them, and we're at the first stages of it. It's not perfect. We have a set of information we need on a weekly basis, which is around tasters, taster sharps, taster conversions, health and safety issues, customer issues, coach issues, venue issues, kids who need progression, at-risk children that we think are not engaged, or we think there is a risk that they may leave sport for kids, and what can we do about it. They've got a handover book that they complete. We have a call with them on a Monday to catch up with the lead coaches, even at venues that we've been at, to get them into the habit of doing it, even though we should know what's been going on at the venue when we've been there. And some of these guys are young, and it's the first time they've been in any position of leadership or responsibility, so there's a lot to learn. And we need to give them the backup and the encouragement that we're there as a safety net, so even when they're on their own, if there are any problems, we're on the end of the phone. If there's any problems they want us to follow up on, we follow up on them. And it's really about that slow, steady development. So give them a bit of responsibility, a bit of accountability, and then drip feed it in over a period of time. And I would think by the end of the next 3 months, that's 7 months in since our first venue, we should have 2 or 3 lead coaches who are capable of managing a venue on a Saturday or Sunday morning, look after the parents, look after the children, train the coaches, encourage the coaches. They'll still need help, but they should be able to do that on a week-by-week basis.